In our last video, we hinted at Quavo's retaliation and the ongoing feud between him and Chris Brown. Well, today, we are fully immersing ourselves into the fiery depths of Quavo's response track, Over. This diss track is more than just a clapback. It's a verbal onslaught aimed squarely at Chris Brown in the aftermath of his own diss track, Weakest Link. But what makes this retaliation stand out? Firstly, it features a hook from the late Takeoff, adding another layer of intensity to the mix. Secondly, it was fast. Quavo premiered the track via DJ Akademiks stream on April 22, 2024, just 3 days after the release of Weakest Link. Throughout the song, he doesn't beat around the bush, heading deep into Chris Brown's troubled history, his defeats at the hands of other rappers, and even his past as an exotic dancer. And if that weren't enough, Quavo sends a chilling message about mentioning Takeoff in any future conflicts. It's safe to say, things are about to get heated, so let's break it down. From the very start, Quavo doesn't play around with any initial chorus as he enters straight into his opening verse, guns blazing. The battle truly ignites in the second line, where he spits, "Lil, come dance battle with my Drac, Bert." Here, Quavo unleashes a masterful double entendre, cleverly referencing Chris Brown's role in the 2007 film Stomp the Yard, where his character meets his demise via gunfire. The word Drac may initially evoke the thoughts of Drake, but Quavo flips the script, revealing it as his own abbreviation for a Draco, a type of firearm. It's a blistering opening salvo, setting the stage for the verbal warfare to come. Continuing in the next two lines, Quavo starts to lay bare the dark chapters of Chris Brown's past that have left a lasting stain on his career. With unflinching honesty, he raps, "You been your bag up when you punched Ree in the face. Talking about Fashion Week, you sparring who? Come punch me in my face." Quavo was referencing the infamous incident in 2009, where photos emerged of Rihanna's battered face, shedding light on Chris Brown's history of violence. That incident not only tarnished his reputation, but also had profound repercussions on his career, including difficulties obtaining visas for performances in countries like the UK and Australia for many years. But Quavo doesn't stop there. He was only getting started. With a bold challenge, he calls out Chris Brown's bravado from his own diss track, Weakest Link, where Chris raps about contemplating violence but ultimately giving a pass. Next line, Quavo keeps on exposing Chris Brown's history of violence with reference to Frank Ocean. It ain't nothing but a fade. The altercation between Chris Brown and Frank Ocean on the evening of January 27, 2013, at Westlake Studios in Los Angeles, California, remains a grim chapter in both artists' histories. According to Ocean's statements to the police, Brown attempted to extend a handshake, which Ocean declined. In response, Brown allegedly punched Ocean in the face, with two members of his entourage joining in, pushing Ocean into a corner and attempting to kick him. The situation escalated further when Brown reportedly threatened to shoot Ocean, ominously declaring, "We can bust on you too." Quavo doesn't shy away from highlighting the darker moments in Chris Brown's life, including the 2015 robbery of his San Fernando Valley home, where his aunt was subjected to a terrifying ordeal. Reports detailed how she was tied up, locked in a closet, and held at gunpoint during the robbery. Quavo, in his lyrics, subtly insinuates a possible motive behind the robbery, suggesting it was retaliation for Chris Brown's alleged failure to settle a debt. While they may have been dissing, throwing sensitive lyrics that hurt on a personal level, or even involving the dead, this next line is most certainly a new dispensation, maybe a bit extreme, sending a direct death threat to the point of even attaching name. Absolutely, this bullet got your name serves as a potent metaphor, suggesting an imminent and inevitable demise by gunfire. In the context of a diss track like Quavo's, it's a chilling declaration of intent, conveying the seriousness of the conflict and the potential consequences for the target, Chris Brown. More so, death threats in rap songs can potentially constitute criminal threats, even if the victim never hears the song directly. Towards the end of the first verse, Quavo's message couldn't be any clearer. He directly ordered Chris Brown to steer clear of any mention of his late nephew Takeoff. This command carries a weighty undertone, emphasizing the sensitivity of the subject and warning of potential repercussions should Chris Brown choose to disregard it. In the opening lines of his second verse, Quavo further ridiculed Chris Brown, referring to him as a "lil' boy caught up in disputes over women." With incisive language, he questions Chris Brown's priorities, wondering if he's willing to risk everything over trivial matters like relationships with women. From regarding Chris Brown a simp, Quavo went back into revealing Chris Brown's past indiscretions with unflinching honesty. In these lines, he referenced a specific incident involving R&B icon Usher and singer-model Teyana Taylor, shedding light on a volatile situation that unfolded during a surprise birthday party for Chris Brown at Skate Rock City in Las Vegas. Reports claim that Chris Brown, under the influence of alcohol, allegedly behaved disrespectfully towards Teyana Taylor, prompting Usher to intervene in an attempt to defuse the escalating tension. This intervention seemingly angered Chris Brown, leading to a confrontation where he reportedly insulted Usher and demonstrated aggressive behavior. Quavo's lyrics reiterate that Chris Brown's struggles with substance abuse, symbolized by the mention of cocaine and his erratic behavior, possibly linked to bipolar disorder, contributed to the altercation. Chris Brown's drug-induced behavior is an assertion Quavo has previously made in Tender. His words cut deep as he reflects on Chris Brown's fall from grace. By acknowledging Brown's past greatness, Quavo underscores the significance of his decline, rapping that Chris Brown once stood at the pinnacle of the music industry. However, with a poignant twist, Quavo observes Brown's current struggles and mistakes, indicating that he's witnessing Brown's downfall in real time. The phrase, "I'm watching you crumble," carries a weighty sense of inevitability, implying that Quavo is witnessing the unraveling of someone who once held immense power and influence. For the second time referencing Stomp the Yard and sending death threat in this same track, Quavo reminded Chris Brown of how his character died in the movie, implying that he can be met with such faith in real life. He went further to flip the acronym OHB, Original Hood Boys, a rap crew formed by Chris Brown, on its head. Instead of its original meaning, he interprets it as over and this was the inspiration for the diss track title. Anyone who listened to Weakest Link would expect Quavo to address the Saweetie issue, and he didn't disappoint. Saweetie and Quavo were previously in a relationship that ultimately ended in March 2021 after 3 years. In Chris Brown's diss, he rapped, "'Cause your ex when you were still with her." Quavo responded in this track saying he doesn't care that he slept with his girl while he was dating her, saying that he can make any girl a Saweetie. Saweetie later responded to Quavo with a tweet saying, "Hopefully the model he turns me into replies," showing a DM of Quavo messaging her on Instagram in January. Still not letting go of Chris Brown's drug issue, he throws another shade with crackhead Michael Jackson. Chris Brown has always been compared to Michael Jackson, coming up as an R&B pop singer who can sing and dance at an elite level. Chris Brown has had drug issues, hence Quavo jokingly calling him crackhead MJ. On the Takeoff issue, Quavo dedicates a sober moment to declare that he still wants to get back at the person who was involved in Takeoff's death, and he is still not at peace. But he switched back very quickly to the diss vibe as he continues to downplay his rap battle with Chris. From the title, Over and Quavo considers this whole back and forth a petty squabble over women neither of them are currently dating. He puts it into perspective. What he actually cares about is street drama and what happened to Takeoff. Further down the line, Quavo came at Chris Brown with another controversy about his baby mamas and their spilling of tea, a slang initially used by Chris Brown in Weakest Link. Chris Brown has 3 children with 3 different women. A daughter, Royalty Brown, born May 27, 2014 with Nia Guzman Amy. A son, Aiko Katori Brown, born November 20th, 2019 with Amika Harris. And a daughter, Lovely Symphony Brown, born January 8, 2022 with Diamond Brown. Quavo's words convey a clear message of readiness and resolve in the last 2 lines, telling Chris Brown to keep that energy upon seeing him. He's essentially warning him to be prepared for confrontation or physical fight. Following up with, "Can't believe I gotta beat you 'bout some women beef," he ends the second verse. This scathing retaliation against Chris Brown's weakest link shows clearly that the heat of this feud shows no signs of cooling down anytime soon. From brutal dissections of Chris Brown's troubled past to personal jabs and even threats, it is evident that beyond the spectacle of rap beef, there are deeper issues at play. The references to past altercations, personal struggles, and broken relationships serve as stark reminders of the human cost of fame and the toxicity that can pervade the music industry. So as we wrap up, we encourage you to continue following this story, staying tuned for updates and insights into the ongoing saga between Quavo and Chris Brown. And remember, your engagement matters. Like, share, comment, follow, and hit that notification bell to stay informed and join the conversation. Let us know what you think about this retaliatory diss track. Is the direct death threat worth it?